Hi again, folks. In this video, who are the 10 teams in the NHL I dislike the most? Coming up. All right. I won't say hate, but I won't pretend on my channel there's teams I don't dislike not to lose viewers. But one thing I will do, I'll tell you the teams I dislike, but I'll always stay respectful to, what is that fluff flying around my face? What the heck was that? Thought it was a fly. There's teams I dislike in this league. Any fan that says they don't dislike any teams but have favorite teams are lying, okay? They're lying. There's no way you can not dislike teams as a fan. I don't buy it. I just don't. So I'm too competitive to like everybody. No, it's not in me. All right, so I'm going to roll off my top 10 most disliked teams and a few reasons why, and I'll keep this moving. Number 10, Chicago Blackhawks. I never have hated the Chicago Blackhawks my entire life till that era where they were winning cups, and mostly because their fans online were just talking about how the East teams are all crap and they got the greatest team ever assembled, and there was all sorts of things you'd hear, what you tend to hear from teams that are winning cups. But what I didn't like about that Chicago team mostly, not what happened this year. That has nothing to do with my dislike for the Chicago Blackhawks, just for the record. Although I think they're idiots the way they handled it. Totally idiots, but my opinion. No, I didn't like how arrogant the franchise got. And I'll tell you what, the Chicago Blackhawks, when they were starting out with that young team, I enjoyed watching them. But by the end of their cups, folks, I can't tell you how irritating their stupid goal song is. I can't tell you how irritating it is. And I've never been one that I liked how they cheered through the national anthem. I never liked it. I know some fans really think that's chilling. I find it disrespectful to the war veterans. It's just how I see it. I grew up in a house when it comes to war veterans. My grandfather was hardcore military mentality, fought in World War II, and I can't imagine how angry it would have made him if the Canadian national anthem was sang through or whatever. It probably would have drove him nuts, you know? But I just don't think it's proper. I don't, but that's me, you know? Doesn't make me mad. But what did make me mad was some of the arrogance in the Chicago Blackhawks as they started winning. I started hating this team. I don't know, man. Number 9, Carolina Hurricanes, with good reason, 2006. They won a cup that was ours, and we want it back. There you go. Carolina, I went to one of the games in the finals in Carolina that year. That was the year my daughter was a Hartford fan because she liked the Whale as a kid, and then started cheering on the Hurricanes when they moved over to Carolina. I was at game 5, sorry. Game 5 that went to overtime where Pisani scored the shorthanded goal in overtime. And I told my daughter, we're either going to go to game 5 or I'll buy tickets ahead of time for game 7, but we don't know if it's going to go game 7, you know? The odds are it won't, and it did, but at the time, the odds are it won't. And when it come to that game, I remember, the fans are very nice in Carolina. I got to say, very nice people out there. But they call hockey ice hockey. I'm talking to some guy in his 50s, and he's saying, I just love ice hockey. It's my first year watching. Here this guy is hitting the jackpot, and I'm waiting, like, at the time, 40 years or whatever it is, right? Or 33 years at the time. I'm waiting for a cup still. And this guy's like, cashes in on his first one. So a little jealousy there, yeah. And I don't like this stupid bunch of jerks thing. It's so childish, this clapping thing they do at the end of the game. God, please stop it, Carolina. Stop. Mockery of the NHL. Good Lord. All right, number 8. Vegas. I don't like Vegas. Robin Lehner. There you go. That's enough reason right there not to like Vegas. Now, I don't like how Vegas perceives that they are like the most, that they got the greatest pregame show and all this, and they brag about, like, you know, how they're the most entertaining team in the NHL. It's like, I'll tell you what, I'll stop hating on Vegas when I see them miss the playoffs for like 5 years and their fans are still supporting them. Till then, no. They still got to prove themselves. It's pretty easy to cheer for a team that's winning year after year. We'll see when reality sets in over there, which it's going to by next year, then how they react. That's when we're going to see. Till then, I hope Vegas don't win a cup. And mostly because of Robin Lehner, not Jack. Mostly because of Robin Lehner and his big mouth. They got the wrong face of the franchise over there. Because I'll tell you, Stone isn't the face of the franchise. Neither's really Jack. It's Robin Lehner. So take it for what it is. Number 7, Dallas. I don't like Dallas because of 1999. I just don't like them. One of my best buddies was a Minnesota North Stars fan, then became Dallas fans. He's not with us no more. He died very young. Good guy, Golden Gloves boxer, good friend. He was like my other kid brother. We had a lot of fun times together. And Christian was one of those guys that just loved the Dallas Stars. And he was really, really overconfident when they faced the Sabres till they got into that series. He was scared as hell by the end of it. So he said, I had no idea the Sabres are this good. Like he really didn't expect it, I remember. And then was really excited the next year. Then they got to the finals again, but they lost to Jersey, of course. Jason Arnott. But that Dallas team, I started hating a lot less once Lindy went there as their coach. Once Lindy went there, I stopped hating on Dallas like I did, kind of. But they're still on my list, no matter what. If Dallas played Vegas, Dallas should be actually maybe, and Vegas should flip, because I would cheer for Dallas most likely. Most likely. Wouldn't take much for me to turn on Dallas, though. All right, number 6, Philadelphia. 1975, and Richards hit on Connolly. Didn't help either. But 1975 mostly. And you ask most Sabres fans from back then, they all hate the Flyers today still. I mean, you're not much of a Sabres fan if you're from the 70s and you don't hate the Flyers. I mean, that's just part of the application of being a Sabres fan. If you're from the 70s, you got to hate the Flyers. It's part of the deal. So, 1975, main reason. But I feel bad for my brother because they haven't had a goalie in forever, and now they finally have a goalie, and their team seems like washed up at this point. So, number 5, the Rangers. Okay, I don't like the Rangers. I don't like a franchise that tries to buy a winner and never succeeds at doing it and continues to do it over and over and over. They've been trying this forever. They've made some good calls this time. We're going to see next year and the year after, when all the salaries go like this, then we're going to see what they're really made of, that franchise. They're still able to get away with underpaying some of their young guys. That's not going to happen forever. Money kicks in starting next year. Even starting next year, things are a bit messy in New York. They got the right coach. I loved the Rangers in the 1970s, though, I will say, with Park, Rattel, Hatfield, Emile Francis behind the bench. I loved that team. They were like my second favorite team back then. I loved that era of New York Rangers hockey. They should have won a Stanley Cup in the 70s. I'll say it over and over. 74, the Flyers got lucky. It was home ice all the way in the semis. And I remember when they took out the Habs, Brad Park with the 2 empty net goals. I believe it was in Game 6. I was screaming. I was so happy. My mom was so mad at me that night because I was cheering the Rangers. And then they lost Game 7 in a tight one to the Flyers, who went on to win their first Stanley Cup. But that Rangers team I liked. This current Rangers team, don't like them at all. I don't like the attitude. I don't like anything that Glenn Sather has been attached to, really. Really. Too much ego. And that comes with money, though. When you are a rich franchise, there's a lot of ego, also. We'll see. We'll see what they do. But I will say, I think the Rangers, if you look at their goals for and against, where they rank in the NHL, they're going to take a nosedive in the standings. Not a big one. They're going to make the playoffs, I'm sure. But they're going to go down. They're going to fall and have to show what they are in the playoffs anyway. It doesn't really matter what they do in the regular season. It's the playoffs that counts. Number 4, Boston. Without a doubt, the Boston Bruins are one of my most hated teams, no doubt. Did I love them when they had Bobby Orr? I loved Bobby Orr. So There was times where, as a little kid, I used to cheer for the Bruins too, and Leafs were my team at the time when I was like 6. But the Bruins, everybody loved Bobby Orr, so it was hard not to. And I loved Ray Bourque. I did. He's from Ville Saint Laurent, the district where I lived. He's from Ville Saint Laurent. So there's a lot of things about the Bruins that I did like over the years. I respect, though, this franchise a lot. They're one of my most, they're definitely one of the top teams I respect in the NHL, no doubt at all. But they're such a rival, and because of Lucic and the Miller thing, my hatred for them skyrocketed after that. After that, it was I already hated them, but not to that degree like I did that night. And that was a long time for me to let go of that one. I'm still upset about that. That's why we're in this constant rebuild, guys. It was because of that night. Number 3, Ottawa. I don't like Ottawa. I just don't like them. I don't like them. Ottawa is one of those teams that were, during our big era with Briere and Drury, our back-to-back big era years, they were our number 1 rival. Really were. And I thought they were we got lucky. They got rid of, they kept Redden and got rid of Chara. Because they had a choice. They had to keep one of them, and they chose to go with Redden. Unbelievable. Redden was a buyout, and Chara went on still playing Hall of Fame. Bad mistake. Thank God they made it. But Ottawa also sent Murray to us as a, just saying, Murray. But looking back at this team now, I don't hate this Ottawa team, but the minute there's any success, their fans are as bad as the Montreal fans when it comes to chirping. And I don't respect they have these Stanley Cup banners in their building that they never won. That was a whole other franchise, other era. Please don't take credit for it and put banners up. Take them down, Ottawa, if you haven't already. I don't even know if you have. If you have them up there, shame on you. So Ottawa comes in at number 3. And there's only a few teams that I would cheer for Ottawa for, which I'm going to mention. Number 2, Toronto. Toronto was my favorite team as a kid. Jacques Plante was my favorite goalie, and Dave Keon was my hero as a kid, guys. And here I am telling you they're the second most disliked franchise in the NHL for me. It was a long time ago, right? And then thank God I got into the French connection, because that's when I transferred over, and they shafted Dave Keon. And any allegiance I had with them by that point, Toronto, because I kind of still rooted for them in the beginning when I was a Sabres fan. But I fell in love with the Sabres. It just happened. It just did. And when they let go of Keon, I was grateful inside. I could get them out of my system once and for all. Really, that's how it felt at the time. I just don't like the Leafs because another team that tries to buy a winner, John Tavares, is proof of that. Now, there's a few reasons I think this team could win a Stanley Cup, but there's a few reasons I think they won't. And the number 1 reason I think they won't, Sheldon Keefe. I just don't believe that's a Stanley Cup coach. I don't believe it. I don't believe he'll be able to hack it in the playoffs or know what to do. And I don't like how a guy walks around with a chip on his shoulder. I seen that Leafs reality series that was on. It was unbelievable. All this guy does is swear every 10 seconds. That's all he does. Go check the series if you haven't seen it. F this, F that, F this, F that. He's trying to be a badass in front of the camera. It's so ridiculous. But there is one team I will cheer for Toronto to beat next time they run into each other, and that's number 1, the Montreal Canadiens. Guys, I suffered with the Canadiens horribly in the 70s, okay? I never got over that. And anytime I've let my guard down with them, like last year, and even rooted them on. I actually rooted them on to beat Toronto last year, which that was a bad mistake on my part, because Toronto were, talking like they're going to win the cup, and it's their fans that turn me against them more than anything. We got some good Leaf fans that show up on my channel and talk normal. There's good Leaf fans out there, folks, and they're not all the same, but the ones that chirp and keep talking about the parade on Yonge Street and all that, shut up. Stop it. Enough. Stop doing that. You're never going to win a cup with that thinking, ever. So Montreal, runs into them, and I'm like cheering for Montreal because I feel bad for the Habs at this point. I'm feeling bad that this once proud franchise is now a disaster with a joke of a coach right now, really. And a horrible GM who thinks he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, it's just ridiculous, the whole thing that went down last year. And then they have this run that only because of Carey Price, who really doesn't want to be here no more, really doesn't. And then they put this run together, and then I see this city revert back to what it used to be, arrogant, talking about dynasty and cups, and oh my God, I said, okay, no. No, that's why when they lost to Tampa, I didn't mind Montreal won a game, though. I was hoping they'd make it respectable. I thought Montreal was going to win, to be honest, because when they get to the finals, look at the history books. You know, I go by that too. And it was a gut call that maybe Tampa might take them too lightly. I was wrong. So I'm happy Tampa won that cup now, of course, you know. Okay, that's it for my 10. Not going to deny there's teams I don't like in this league. I won't pretend. No. And there's teams, of course, I do like besides the Sabres. I might make that another video sometime. See you then.